So today I'm going to be overclocking my E5-1650 Xeon and also showing y'all the flip side of PC gaming. How was that pun? Welcome back to Tech Yes City, guys. This is Brian coming back to you guys today with a vlog of just things that I got to get done around the house here. And one of those things is also selling the accumulating rigs that are getting accumulated over here over the last few weeks and months. And now this is kind of sad because I recorded this footage a couple of weeks ago where I changed all this hardware over here and put it into this case that I got here for $20. Now, because I'm going to sell this, presentation is kind of an important thing. But with this, if I was using this for personal use, you know, price performance all the way, I would have kept this hideous looking case here. But what we did with this computer, we fixed this heatsink that I'd zip tied down before by just getting this old Intel heatsink and pulling two of the clips off and then putting it on there. So this PC is now working perfectly good. It's all cleaned up and it's going to get sold. I'm going to try and make a little bit of money on that. But let's get on to the other rigs and then we'll talk about them all in total. So now we're just going to quickly clean up the giveaway PC, and I'm going to uninstall the games that I use for benchmarking and stuff. And no, whoever wins this PC, I do not want you to ask me for my Steam account username and password. I think that's a commandment of PC gaming. One does not ask another man for his username and password. It just doesn't happen. Don't go there. But after we're done cleaning this up, we'll be putting that next to the Dark Souls 3 PC over there. And then we'll be getting on to the water cooling PC. Alright, so next up here we've got the giveaway, sorry, not the giveaway PC, we've got the water cooling experiment PC that I paid, what was it, around $220, so all up this owes me about 220 US, so if I can get my money back on this PC then I'll be really happy, even if I could just break even on this one, because it was, yeah, again, a lot of experiments. We came into a few different problems, notably being the DDR2 memory, and also the water cooling loop just didn't really add any value onto this build, so we're kind of already $60-70 behind there on this build to begin with. I mean, that memory was overpriced too, so it's actually probably more than $70. I'd say around about $80 behind, so Alright, so here's the three rigs lined up here. The ideology behind this is that I want to make profit on this one. So I built this for around about 200, but I did swap the case over. So it's around about 220 now, and hopefully I can get around about 350 for it. So that'll be a good build to make a little bit of profit on. This is the giveaway PC, and man, whoever wins this is going to absolutely love this thing. 1080p gaming, it doesn't really get much better than this. It is a beast. Even if you're going to be streaming or whatnot, this thing will still perform really well. This here, I just hope to break even, like I said before. But with that all being said, let's get on now to a big project people have been wanting me to test. So I'm going to be doing the preliminary figures on the E5-1650 Xeon here. This is the 6-core, 12-threaded overclockable Xeon on Sandy Bridge. A lot of people have been like, dude, you got to overclock this thing. So we're going to get onto that now and go upstairs and see what we can do with this thing. So here's the setup what we're going to be using today. We're going to be using this 850 watt Aurum Pro gold rated power supply, the Gigabyte X79 UD7, 2TB hard drive, and a 250 gig SSD there, and also the GTX 780. And for the cooling, we're going to use the Millstorm 240 all-in-one water cooler. So we'll see if we can go and try and get 5 gigahertz. That's what I'm actually going to try and get on this CPU. Over 6 cores, it's a lot to ask, but since it is the Xeon, it hopefully can do it. So let's find out. So we're just about to hook all this up, and this power supply here does not have SATA connectors on it, so I am going to go downstairs and hack up this 24 pin to leech off the 5 volt and the 3.3 for the SATA connector there. So let's go get that done. So we've got this power supply here, and now it doesn't have any of those proprietary connectors. And now a quick and easy way around this, and I'm going to say straight away, this is certainly not the best method, is to grab your 24 pin there and just splice the SATA connector you have lying around. See, I pulled this off a dead power supply, so I'm going to splice this into here, and then we're going to have a fully functional power supply. And we did pick this up for around about $50, I think, this 850 watt gold rated power supply. Okay, so we finished the soldering job here, and I had a lot of problems soldering this time for some reason. The solder was not sticking to the iron, and I guess that's just what happens when you got a cheap soldering iron that gets dirty. I don't know. But anyway, it's finished. We're going to tape it off now, and then we're going to start using this power supply. So there we have it, guys. This is now one brand new power supply, and look at that. It's all good to go. Right, so let's see if this thing boots up for the first go, and damn, I don't know if you guys heard that, but there was like some kind of hopefully it's alright. So got the monitors here, they've been ruffled up a bit, maybe after a few earthquakes, who knows. Ah, cool. Alright, so we have a signal coming out of this thing. Looks like Windows is loading up now. And that's really good news because we can get into overclocking this thing. Sweet! Yeah! Yeah! Alright, so we're in the BIOS now, and this is the Gigabyte UEFI dual BIOS for the X79 UD7. Now, we're just going to fiddle around with some settings. So we're going to have the phase control on extreme performance. I guess that will just use all the phases, or it'll switch them faster. There's not enough, there's no elaboration on the setting there. So we've got the voltage response there. We want that to be fast, and we want our VRM there responding fast to our CPU's needs. So we want that on fast. The load line calibration, we would want this on extreme. So whatever voltage we set for our CPU, we want that to be pretty much the same when it's under stress, or when the CPU is being stress tested. And what this means is it won't get that V droop there. And generally you don't have to worry about this setting when you are overclocking nowadays, especially if you've got a good power supply. I mean, in the old days you used to have that V droop mainly there because the power supplies were bad, and if your CPU dropped and you didn't have a lower value, it would just spike too hard and it could cause damage to your hardware. But nowadays, with the motherboards and the power supplies being really good, you can generally set this pretty high without having to worry too much. So we can put that on extreme. The other settings there, they aren't too important to overclocking the actual CPU itself. The CPU VGD load line calibration, I'm going to drop that up to 80% there. Again, pretty aggressive. It shouldn't make too much of a difference. So they're the settings that we're mainly concerned about in here, as well as the PWM switch rate. Because we're not going for an extremely high overclock here, we can have our CPU phases there switching as low as possible. It means it's going to stay on the same phase as much as possible before it switches over, I believe. Again, there's not much detail on the actual settings themselves. I'm just assuming a lot here. But when we go into the CPU core voltage here, we can have that at 1.35 volt. That should be good because we're going to try and boot that up at maybe 4.6 gigahertz initially, and then we'll go from there. I mean, the CPU PLL, we should be able to get away with having that at 1.84 maybe. We're just going to play around with a few settings here. I don't really know what's going to come out of this, but we'll give this a shot first and see how it goes. The DRAM, we're not going to overclock the memory just yet. Or we're not going to, essentially, the platform chipset hub, we don't have to worry about those settings at this moment. So let's give this a go. We're going to lock into the CPU at 4.6 now at those settings and see if it boots up. Now I am going to take it a little bit slower than normal because there is a setting in this BIOS where you have to change the PCIe to legacy for the NVIDIA graphics card. Now if I brick and I have to reset my BIOS, it won't boot up with the NVIDIA card, so I'm going to have to put in an old school AMD card or something and change that setting and then reset. So it'll be very tedious, but let's get on with this. Alright, so that just did not work at all. We're going to have to maybe up the voltage a little bit there. Didn't boot at 4.6 gigahertz, so we're going to try some different settings there to see if we can get a better boot, damn it. Alright, so I did boot back into the BIOS, thankfully. I just don't know why it didn't even attempt to boot. So we will just drop that down to 4.4 now and just see if that works. And if that works, then it's just probably not the best Xeon. You never know. And see, that's the thing. When you buy used CPUs off eBay, it could have been one really good overclocker selling off all his duds. Like maybe the guy bought 10 CPUs, he picked out the best one, sold the rest, sold the other 9. So I know that happens in the overclocking community. So it just depends. Maybe, yeah. So we're booting up at 4.4. So we're just going to keep testing this CPU to see what we can really get out of it here. So we're looking for like a boot that's relatively stable at a pretty high clock speed. So let's give it a go. Alright, so we're back in the BIOS here. Let's get back into our overclocking. Alright, you know what we're just going to do? We're just going to go 4.8 and we are going to up that voltage up to around about 1.39. And then we're probably going to take off that low noise adapter and let those fans just go ham. So, I mean, that's what I'm kind of feeling like at the moment. And we'll give that a go, just to fast track this overclocking experience. Let's give that a shot. Okay, 4.8 is at least doing nothing. Boot failure. Okay. So I don't think this CPU is as good as other people are posting up or I've seen screenshots of. I mean, I did see a guy have a screenshot of 5 gigahertz at like 1.4 volts, so I was pretty jelly when I saw that. But let's try 4.7 maybe. 4.7 might be good enough. You never know, unless you go. So let's give this a workout. 4.7, 1.395 volt. To be honest though, I wouldn't want to take it any higher than this, because, you know, it's 24/7 usage, so this CPU isn't as good as what I hoped it would be, but if we can get like 4.7 or even 4.6 out of it at 1.39 volt, I'll be pretty happy with that. You know, so we just gotta see if it fails the overclock. Though 4.7 looks like it's might reach Windows, so this is a good sign. Though I do expect it to be unstable. So, no, there we go, okay. Sweet, so we booted up at 4.7. Let's change over to the thunderous fan noise. Nah. Damn, okay, that wasn't meant to be. So see there, it just crashed. Okay, so in other words, the overclock at 4.7 is not working, unless we might give it a little bit more voltage. I'm not too keen to take it over 1.4 really, because again, I'm looking for a 24/7 stable here. Ugh, man, that's pretty high. Okay, we'll give that a go anyway. 1.405 volts at 4.7 gigahertz. Let's give this thing a workout. And I mean, if it stays stable, like if it gets to Windows and it sort of sits there, then I can start toggling and playing around with it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to drop it back to 4.6, because that's probably about where it will be. The highest 24/7 overclock for the CPU. Keep in mind though, I've got that low noise adapter on, and the radiator is getting a little bit warm. So once I take it off and it goes ham, we'll see what we can do. Okay, so we've got this thing stable at 4.5 gigahertz now, and the max temperature was 67 there. So we will try and up it to 4.6 stable and possibly even 4.7. So let's get into that now. Crash incoming, crash incoming. So there we have it. We've got the Silicon Lottery, and then we've got the eBay Silicon Lottery. Now, the latter, you are almost guaranteed to lose out. As you saw in my case, I could only get this thing to 4.5 gigahertz. And I know you're probably sitting there like, 4.5 is not too bad. Yeah, I know it's not that bad, but we had a C2 revision Xeon E5-1650, which is kind of like the best of the best when it comes to this 6-core on that X79 motherboard there. So, I also did try everything. I know there's going to be people out there like, man, you try matching the IMC to the CPU VTT. Did that, didn't make a difference. Tried upping that to 1.2 volt. Couldn't get this thing stable at 4.6. Tried upping the voltage even to like 1.43 volt. And I mean, even at that stage, I'm not willing to go that much higher, because A, I want this thing for a 24/7 stable, and B, yeah, I don't want to destroy my CPU. But also, I will say that the motherboard in general was pretty bad this time around. That 3D BIOS was, I mean, what the hell was going on there? Also with the PWM control, that was just terrible as well. If I left that on in the BIOS, my fan speeds would literally just go up and down, up and down. Like, it literally changed for almost every degree and change on the CPU. And I actually had the Akbel power supply on there when I was clocking the 3930K with that setting. And the Akbel gave out. It just cut out and stopped working. So I had to turn that setting off. That was a bad setting there. And also in general, there was a lot of other settings that I did try, like disabling all the speed step technology, disabling the turbo, the C states. Yeah, so I just could not get this thing to run stable at 4.6 gigahertz. Now, it could have been the motherboard, but I'm pretty sure that we just lucked out. I mean, we didn't luck out on the CPU. So that's that. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Looks like we're on a bit of a losing streak lately, Rotten Tomato, with that memory, now this CPU. And you know, I was hyping this CPU up for like weeks. I've been like, man, I got this Xeon in, it's the E5-1650, and it was a complete fail. That's about it from me today. I did do my best and I just couldn't get it any higher. The thermals were great, and 4.5 gigahertz is still a pretty good damn overclock there. But I will be coming back with an X58 overclocking tutorial and a LGA 771 overclocking tutorial on a live stream. So we're going to do that live for you guys in the next couple of weeks. I just got to get this build out of the way with, And I'm going to order in a Kurosaki Ichigo case for it. You know that character from Bleach? Even though that's not the name of the case, that's what I thought it was initially. So I'm going to order one or more of those cases in. That's the same case that I'm using for the giveaway. And then I'm going to put all that hardware that you saw today in that case, make a build, benchmark it in games, see how it runs, and then sell it. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. Though with the eBay Silicon Lottery, I wonder if there is the PayPal counter Silicon Lottery. You just put in a PayPal dispute. This thing didn't overclock high enough. That would make you the world's biggest douchebag. And I am the world's biggest douchebag, so why not? Kidding. But I did open a dispute for that DDR2 memory. That crap was just insane. Back to Tech Yes City. This is Brian coming, thinking about making an emo PC build. I don't know how this is going to go down, but I want to make an emo PC build. So if you have any suggestions on how to do that, comments, brothers. Now I know what you're thinking. I want to see the flip, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get the camera over here, bring that over with the lighting. We're going to bring that over, get all this ready. Alright, so we're just going to take a photo of this PC now, just get one of those juicy shots that we need. And probably get one more, and then we will flip the PC. Alright, so there's one computer done. Let's get on to the next one. So now we've got these two PCs photoed. We're going to upload them to a website called Yahoo Auctions because I'm in Japan. I want to sell these locally because the shipping is really cheap domestically. So let's upload these things and ask what we can for them, I guess. Okay, so in Japan, this is a very popular benchmark. This is the Heaven's Ward Final Fantasy 14, I think. So a lot of people, when they sell PCs, they run this benchmark. So I'm going to be running this benchmark and then selling this PC. So let's get this finished and then we're good to go. Flip side. Flip side. Flip side. Flip side. Flip side.